Am I live? Am I live? Refresh. Am I live? Am I live? Refresh. Zone. Refresh. Zone. There it is. I'm live. All right, guys. What is up? It is the Climb to One. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to do our close of business review with a little bonus. Me versus the S&P. How has the account been doing since we started it back on October 1st, 2024, head-to-head versus the S&P. Boom! What is it? It is November 2024, the 19th, a Tuesday. Das is today, y'all. We are sitting at, well, when was close? Yeah, we'll just go with the 1390. We have crested over 1400 today. That's nice. That's very nice. But we're at 1390. Remember, we invested $1,120. We got one free dollar of AVAX Avalanche. We got one free dollar for opening up an IRA. So two of these dollars, is Robinhood being cool like that. Let's go into the stocks. Today's return, YBTC, that is the Bitcoin cover calls, $1.47. Maxi said, let me make you $1.95. YMAG said, let me make you $3.43. And NVDY said $3.68. Tony said, I don't like you. I'm taking my 16 cents and going home. And Misty said, $37.13. Big bala. That's on the day. Let's look at total returns. Everything is green. YBTC 509. 374 on that NVDY. $6.03 on the YMAG. Let's give it up. $30.78 to Maxi. Tony was taking a day off, but they've been big balling at $43.65. And Misty at $132.30. But let's look at the percentages. Why? Because it looks like Misty's running away, and Misty is running away. But Maxi is doing just as effective, almost, on the percentage. Just I've got $400 into Misty. So when things go up, things go up. Let's see, our lowest is YMAG. But YMAG is our weekly payer. YMAG is going to grow quickly because every week it's going to drip back into itself. So we're good with that. We're good with that. And again, all of this is just capital gains. This is capital gains here. And then let's look at our dollar. Today, our dollar went down 4 cents, but our dollar is up 2 cents. So we got a $1.02 up here in Avalanche. So that would be the close of business for today. Nice and condensed. We actually knocked that one out the park, guys. That's the best we've done a close of business all day. But wait, bonus content. There's more. All right, well, first off, let's do a look. We see the today up 3.52% total. But let's look a little deeper. All right. We know that we started back on like October 1st. During that time, well, this is saying October 19th. So sure, that'll work. $14.45 is what the S&P is up, which is a gain. And a gain is good. We're up $257.75, which is to say we are up 22.66%. Versus the S&P. And remember, the S&P is what you're trying to beat, because if you're not beating the S&P, then you should just be investing into the S&P, right? That's the theory. If you can't beat the S&P, join the S&P, just buy into the S&P. And that's not bad. You will be a wealthy person over 30, 40 years if all you do is invest in the S&P. But some people look to accelerate. All right. So the idea is to beat the S&P. And in this 2-month time, I am soundly beating the S&P. Now, this could go away at any moment. This is unrealized gains. All right. The big driver of this, almost half of this, no, more than half of this, is coming from Misty. Okay. So if Misty drops off a cliff, this drops off a cliff. It's really that simple. But here's the surprising point. I'm in a high yield dividend type of account. That's what I'm rocking. Everything I have pays me high divvies. We're talking 20% plus. Guys, we haven't collected all the dividends yet. Okay? Everything hasn't paid a dividend yet. We're not recouping off dividends yet. So how this is supposed to work is my stock prices are supposed to go down. But they're supposed to go down less than my dividends pay me. I'm supposed to have a total return, but the super high dividend yields are supposed to be dragged down a little by NAV erosion and stuff like that. But because the market is so bullish right now, we're getting the big dividends, but we're also gaining capital gains. We're getting the best of both worlds. And with these particular stocks, that's not really the way it's supposed to be playing out. That's not really how it's supposed to be happening. So we are in a very fortunate time. We're hoping that this bull can continue. We're going to ride that bull. All right. Remember, we're going to get dividends on the 22nd. We're going to get dividends on the 29th. The weekly, there's going to be a monthly here, then the weekly, and there's going to be 2 monthlies here. All right. We get paid on the 29th because the 1st is a Sunday. So this is also deposit day. All right. So the account is going to grow by the amount of dividends from the 22nd and the 29th. Whatever capital gains continue, and by whatever amount I put in. The goal is to get the account to a $2,000 valuation. And the less I have to put in to do that, the better for me financially out here on my end. Eat less ramen, maybe buy my box of coffee again. Treat myself a little. While still, keeping my averages up on my investing. And again, that $2,000 is so that we can go into our margin and leverage out $1,000 at 0% interest, so that $1,000 can start bringing me money as well. And as we see, we've hit 1,400 a day at one point. 1,400 from 1120, right? 1220, 1320. That's 280 in gains. 286 at this point. So we're hoping, if we look at week. Okay, the highest it was previous was here, 1331. We're here. We're up 60 from that point, right? And we tethered down here. Now, some of this was while I was doing my sells, right? Selling out of positions, buying into positions. This was the long flat weekend. And then bam, bam, Monday, Tuesday. If we keep seeing this, we're talking chunk here, we're talking chunk here. If we keep seeing this, since I recalibrated my portfolio through the week and through the next week, wow. I mean, you don't expect it to just keep going up, but I would say at this rate, what, 1,500 by the 29th? Maybe more? Just like trying to do the math in my head real quick. To have gone from, made the switch and the changes, to go from 1230 something, to climb that to 1288, then that went up to 1359. Now we're flirting with the 1400s. To put that over 8 business days. I mean, I don't want to get wild with it, but we're talking $50 and $60 days, okay? $50 times 8 days is $400. Really, we could be flirting with something like 1,800, and that would be insane. And if it does go super stupid like that, if it does go ridiculously well, we're going to put at least $500 in. We're not going to say, oh, we're 200 away from 2,000. We're only going to put 200 in. No. The least I'm going to put in any month is 500. I reserve the right to put in more to accelerate the account. If I need 6, 7, 8, we did 900 last month. I don't want to do 900 again. I honestly don't. But if it got us to 2,000, I probably would and just suck it up for another month. Long December it would be. But the less I can put in to get to that 2,000, the better. But we're still going to do a minimum of 500 because by the end of the year, we want to have put in $6,000 invested, $6,000 deposited, right? So we don't sit on our laurels just because our portfolio goes up because of unrealized capital gains. We don't do that. We still put in our minimum at the least, and we can always put in more. But that's it, guys. I'm just showing like this could go up by quite a bit because we've been jumping $40 to $60 since this point a day. Okay, like this was 1231. That's 50. Okay, and then from 1288, that's 70. Then from 1350, that's 50. That's 80, 70, and 50 in 3 business days. That's 200 over 3 days. Well, let's call it like $67 a day. If it continued that, 67 times 8. I'm not saying it would. That would be an insane ride. The top side we should expect, the top side, the best case scenario. The holy hell, this would never happen. But if it happened, $536, which would be putting us at 18, 19, 20, 1930. 1,900, that would be wild. That would be ridiculous. That would be insane. That is what the current trend is saying. We are not saying the current trend would hold. We should not expect that. That's why I went with a much lower number, okay? Even if it only goes 20 a day for 8 days, just going up 160 from here still puts us at 1550. That's outstanding. We're only 450 away from 2. That's outstanding. If we can just get $20 a day, we're sitting pretty. I would more expect about 35 a day. 280 is outstanding. 280 is so good. But the reality is, this thing's popping over $65 a day over the last 3 days since we've made the change to the accounts, okay? And it's ridiculous. It is. I'm not saying to expect that rate of continued growth. I'm not. But that is the line. That is the trajectory. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing from here to here. That's a steep angle. That's accelerating. All right. So again, S&P is up 1445 since October 19th. October 19th, because that's like, well, I don't know why. I don't know why we're going back to October 19th. No, I'm sorry. Let's move this to 3 months. Let's move this to 3 months to be a little more fair. Now, I didn't have money in, right? 3 months ago. I only had money 2 months ago. We're still up. S&P is up 283 over 3 months. I didn't put money in until 2 months ago, and I'm already 483 up. Okay? So we're still killing the S&P. The S&P is up. I am up 16% over the S&P in 3 months. If we look at 1 month, I am up almost 21%. If we look in the last 7 days, I'm up 10%. Okay? Boom, boom, boom. We're not going back further than 3 months because that's before I started this new buy. We're crushing it. We're killing it. That's with all the mistakes that I've made, and I've showed you some mistakes that I've made. That's with not having fully forward plan. That's everything. That's everything. And here's the fact, not to oversell, we're in a bull market right now. And a lot of it was spurred on by the election. There are going to be a lot of stocks that you can blindly walk into that are going to be going up right now. But if you notice, NVIDIA is already a huge tech sector leader. All right. Coney is attached to Coin. Coin is a crypto trading platform. Every time a crypto transaction is made on there, Coinbase gets paid. The more hype people are about crypto, the more they buy and sell, the more transactions, the more Coin makes, the better Coney does. Okay. YBTC is literally selling covered calls on Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin's going up. They're going to win every one of those covered calls. They're not going to increase as fast as Bitcoin because their upside potential is capped, but they're not going to lose. They're going to keep going up. And that's the same thing with Misty, because MSTR has $2 billion worth at the time they purchased of Bitcoin. That is up 770 million already. So as Bitcoin goes up, MSTR goes up, so MSTY goes up. And we still bag the big, fat, juicy dividends. All right, guys. So that is me versus the S&P over 3 months, 1 month, and 7 days. And that is also the November 19th, 2024 close of business review. And we talked about when deposit date is on the 29th for the next round of buys. All right, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. This is the Climb to One. Having a lot of fun. Signing off.